Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and tonight I'm coming to you with a puzzle that's both a treat, a bit of a difference for the channel, and with an announcement that I'm really happy to be able to bring you. So this is puzzle number 431 from Akash Doulani's Sudoku blog. Sort of. So Akash sent me this puzzle in order for me to do this. This puzzle has not yet been released on the blog as of time of me recording, but it will have been out for a couple of days, sort of, as of the time you've seen it, as of the time this video gets published. Because after this puzzle was sent to me, Akash basically messaged me saying, I think this puzzle's a little bit hard and I'm going to make some changes to it for publication. But I'm going to try the hard version on the channel because from the testing that I've had done, it's apparently brilliant if you can work your way through it. Now, so I'm going to do the hard version. Below will be links to the easy version or the normal version as well as to this version of the puzzle. But I think this is the only place you will get the hard version of the puzzle. Correction, BremSter here. So since I recorded this video, I've had some updates from Akash Doulani that he's had some further testing, and he's actually going to go with what this version of the puzzle that you are seeing, what I've called the hard version, as the standard version of this puzzle. Now, and he's not going to publish the easy version. What I'm going to do is, I can't change the video that I've already recorded, but what I'm going to do is I will provide both links below. So there will be the normal version, which is this version that you see, and then I will also provide a link to the easy version that had been provided, and I'll just change the titles on those. So in spite of what I said before, this will be the normal version of the puzzle, and I'll provide a link to the easy version below. So I'm sorry about any confusion caused by the incorrect title and everything above. This is just the normal version of the puzzle. Everything. The thing with getting puzzles in advance is anything can change, and it did. So I will now pass you back to the BremSter who didn't know this information. But if you like Akash Doulani's puzzles, and who doesn't, the reason that this is being done right now is in a couple of days, I believe, certainly sometime in the next week, Akash Doulani will be releasing his World of Sudoku book, Volume 10. Now, I've got quite a lot of Akash Doulani's books, including, these are volumes, I think, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of the World of Sudoku books. And recently they've come as these books with 120 different Sudoku. These are 8 and 9. And volume 8 was a bunch of different variants, and 9 was, I believe, just killer. And they were just, I just do puzzles randomly from the different books. And they're just amazing books. Now, they're available both in the physical form from Amazon as well as from PayHip as PDFs. So you definitely want to go look at those. But as of this coming out, you will be able to get either the PDF or the physical copy of Volume 10. Now, let me read the blurb from Volume 10. This is the 10th book in the World of Sudoku series of handcrafted Sudoku books. The book contains 10 hybrid Sudoku variants, each hybrid variant being a combination of 2 Sudoku variants. We can say that there are 20 Sudoku variants featured in the book. Each hybrid variant has a good interplay of solve between the 2 variants, resulting in a unique solution. Each variant contains 12 puzzles. In all, there are a total of 120 handcrafted puzzles, Sudokus, with varying levels of difficulty, ranging from moderate to brutally difficult. The Sudokus are fun to solve, high in aesthetics, and have logical solve parts. In all the Sudokus, there are no given digits inside the grid, and all the clues are either in the form of shaped symbols or are given outside the grid. Now, the variants covered in the book are as follows: Thermo combined with Arrow, Kropki pairs combined with Little Killer, Killer combined with German Whispers, which is what this is. This is an example of that. Group Sum combined with Renban, Quadruples combined with Region Sum lines, X Sum combined with consecutive pairs, clone combined with some frame, XV pairs combined with skyscrapers, outside combined with palindromes, and mathrax combined with pointing evens. So 120 puzzles. I believe the PDFs are normally only about $6, and the physical books, I think they come out at about 15 to 20, and I love them. They're just a wonderful thing to have up on the shelf. And it allows me to turn around and say, these are the books, get them. But the PDF is a way to go. Get whichever version works for you. Now, as I said, the puzzle that you're looking at here is the hard version of a puzzle that is similar to one of the things in the book, except the book will be the puzzles in the book will be similar to the easy version listed below. So if you want to get an idea of what's in the book, I believe you want to sort of an average puzzle in the book, not the brutally hard or anything. You might want to check out the easy version linked below, but I'm really fascinated by the hard one. So let's have a look at this. So we have normal Sudoku. Oh, so as for links and everything, I will post a link below to Akash's blog. As I said, as of time of this video coming out, the links for the book, the store pages for the books and everything probably aren't out yet. When they do come out, I will add them to this, but the best thing to do would be just keep checking Akash's blog. So anyway, normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. There are some cages in the grid. The number on the top left corner of each cage is equal to the sum of the digits in the cage. So we know in this cage, the sum of the digits will be equal to 12. In this cage, the sum of the digits will be equal to 24. Digits do not repeat in a cage. So for example, in this cage, we couldn't go 2 5s and then say 1 8. That's not allowed because while that does sum to 19, we cannot repeat digits in the cage. Adjacent digits along a green line have a difference of at least 5. So what that is saying is any two cells connected directly by a green line, the difference between those cells is at least 5. This is the German whisper constraint. And this is going to be weird in this puzzle, I suspect. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So, German whisper lines. Let's talk about those first, because I can see 5 is in one of those two cells, because you can never put a 5 on a German whisper line, because if I was to put a 5 on a German whisper line, what would go next to it? If I was to subtract from 5, I would end up being at 0 or less, and if I was to add to 5, I'd end up at 10 or higher. So that's not going to work because those aren't Sudoku digits. So you can never put 5 on a line, and all of those digits are on German whisper lines. So one of those is a 5. Now, I'm going to pick this cell, for example. Each digit is therefore going to either be below 5 or above 5. So let's say this is below 5. I don't know, I'm just using this as an example to demonstrate. So if this is below 5, because they can't be 5, it'll either be below 5 or above 5, every single digit on a line. The digit next to it on a line can't also be below 5 because there's no difference of 5 between any of these two digits. So the digit that is next to it would have to be above 5. And then similarly, once I go next to that, I couldn't do another digit above 5 because there's no two digits there that have a 5 difference. So the next digit would have to be below 5, and you're always going to have to keep alternating above 5, below 5, above 5, below 5, which we call high, low, or alternating polarity. And that's going to be the case along this entire line. But I'm not sure where I start. Like, is it... There must be a low digit in here, therefore that forces anything, or is it there's a high digit? It's the fact that there's a high digit in here. This is what it is. It's the 12 cage. Okay, so in this 12 cage, we have to put a high digit. Now, what's the lowest high digit we could put in here? Well, it's a 6, because remember, above 5 or below 5. The lowest digit above 5 we can put into this cage is a 6, which means that we would have to fill the other 3 cells with 3 digits that sum to 6, but the minimum digits I've got are I'm fumbling. The minimum digits we've got are 1, 2, and 3, which sums to 6. So this has to be 6 on the line with a 1, and the other 2 digits are the 2, 3, because a 6 can only go next to a 1. There is no other digit between 1 and 9 that can go next to 6. So this can't be the 6. If this was the 6, both of those would have to be 1, and it doesn't work. So that's the 1, that's the 6. Now, because this is 2, 3, 5 is in one of those two. This is a high digit, so it's 7, 8, or 9. Let's start colouring. That is a high digit. Those are low digits. That is a high digit. That is a low digit. And okay, let's keep alternating along this line. Those are low. These are high. But so I've got to put a 4 in one of those, but I can't put a 4 in either of those because 4 is like 6. It only has a single partner on a German whisper line. It can only go next to 9. Every other digit is too close. So if I put a 4 there, both of those are 9. If I put a 4 there, both of those are 9. So that is a 4-5 pair. These, therefore, are 7, 8, 9 and are high, and I have the colouring on these other lines. That becomes high, that becomes high, that becomes high, that becomes high, that becomes high. That becomes low, that becomes low, that becomes low, 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 low. High, 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 high. Low, 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 low. And I've got the colouring of all the German whisper lines already. These are 3 low digits, so their maximum is 9. So this can't be a 7, because the maximum these could be is 2, 3, and 4. And if these were 2, 3, and 4, then that sums to 9, and that means this can't be a 7, because then these would need to sum to 10, and I can't make them sum to 10 with 2 low digits. That is not a 7. 7 is in one of those two, which means one of these is 1 and 2, because the only digits that can go next to 7 are 1 and 2. But if this is 8 or 9, hang on. If this is an 8, this needs to sum to 9, which would be 2, 3, 4. And if it's 9, it needs to sum to 7. Sorry, it needs to sum to 8, which is 1, 3, 4. So there is a 3 and a 4 in here. Wait a minute. So one of these has to be a 3 and one of these has to be a 4. Otherwise, the math doesn't work. Like, even if I make them 1, 2, and 4, that's only 7, and that'd need to be 10 again. So there needs to be a 3 and a 4 in here. Now, so if I put a 3 here, any one of these that is a 3 takes the 8, puts an 8 in. No, sorry, let's look at it the other way. I saw the thing and then I took it to the next step and then I didn't explain it. Whichever one of these is a 4 is going to put a 9 in one of those. So whichever one of those is a 3 is going to put an 8 in one of those. So the 8 and the 9 are in those. What does that do? What does that do? Tell you what it does do. It means that can't be a 1 or a 2. Because if this is a 1 or a 2, those become a 3, 4 pair, and I can't put 7 into either of those cells. So one of these has to be 3, one of these has to be 4. But if those are 3 and 4, where do I put the 7 in this box? Because 7 is too close to either 3 or 4. So one of these has to be a 1, 2. And I've only got a single 1, 2 in here. So that can't be the 1, 2. That is a 3 or a 4. which means this is an 8, 9, because the only digits I can put next to 3 and 4 are 8 and 9. So this is an 8 or a 9. Okay. I was told this was tricky. Okay. Is it this 15 cage? Well, hang on. These are all the low digits. So these are either high or 5. Can that be a high? Can that be a high digit? No, that's a 5. This can't be a high digit. If this was a high digit, these would be 6 and 7 minimum, because they can't repeat because they're in a cage or in the same column or whatever. So the minimum these could be is 6 and 7, which sums to 13. But if these sum to 13, those would have to sum to 2. This can't be a low digit, and it can't be a high digit without breaking this cage. That's the 5. That is not the 5. So this is a high digit. And it's not 8 or 9, so it's 6 or 7. So these have to sum to 10, but this is at least... This can't be 8, because these 3 cells have to sum to 10, and those would have to sum to 2. If this is 7, these sum to 3, and they're 1, 2. If this is 6... then these are 4 and a 1, 3. Either way, there's a 1 in there and there's no 1 there. Wait a minute, I did that wrong. So 1, 2, 3. Let's try that again. If this is a 6, these have to sum to 4. And they would have to be 1 and 3 in that order, because of the 6 could only go next to the 1. So to be 6, 1, 3 to make the 10. If this is 7, these have to sum to 3. But you could put 1 or 2 there, and this would be 1 and 2. But there must be a 1 in here, because if this is 2, 3, that would have to be a 5, and that doesn't work. So there must be a 1 in there, which takes the 1 out of there. But this is now a low digit. Okay. Actually, there's a bunch more stuff I can do. Like that can't be a 6. That's a 7, 8, 9. Because if this was a 6, both of those are 1. This is a 7, 8, 9. This is a 1, 2, 3, because it can't be a 4, because those would both have to be 1. This is the same. This is 1, 2, or 3, because I can't make it 4, because both of those would have to be 9. Now, that could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. That could be 6, 7, 8, or 9, because I could duplicate those digits. That is 1, 2, 3. That could be either... That could be either, this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, 3, this is 7, 8, 9, this is 1, 2, 3, This is 7, 8, 9. I don't know that that's actually helped me much. Okay, I was warned this was tricky. If this is 4, this is 9. That sums to 13. If this is 4, this is 9. These would have to sum to 4, which would be 1 and 3. 4, 9. These would be 1 and 3. Which would make that the 7. Hang on, if that's a 3, I think I've got a problem. If this is 3, this is 4, that's 7. These would need to sum to 10. But if this is 4, 3, 4, 3 here, now 4 would make that 9 and that 9, so this would be 8. 4, 3, 8. Sorry, if this is... No, what I was doing is here is if this is 3 is what I'm doing. If this is 3, this is 4, this is 9. 3, 4, 9 would mean that needs to be 1 because that's 7 plus 9 is 16. That'd need to be 1. That can't be 3. So that's not 3. 3 is in one of those two. So that's not a 3, which gives me a 1, 2 pair. So that's not a 2. This is a 3, 4 pair, which means that's not the 4. But that 3, 4 means that's not the 7. That's the 7. And this is a 1, 2 pair. That's not a 7. This is a 3 or a 4. Because it sees 1, 2 in the box. This 3, 4 means this has to be 8, 9. That's the 8, 9 pair. This is not an 8, 9. That's a 6, 7. But the 8, 9 looks over here, making that a 7, which works for that 1, 2. 7 is down here. This is 8 or 9 because it sees 6 or 7 and has to be high. If this is 4, 9... I'm again at 13. If this is 4, 9, I'm already at 13. That's a 6. That would have to be a 0. That's a 3. Which doesn't... So these now have to sum to 16. But the minimum here is 14. So this is a 1 or a 2. Because if this was a 4... these would have to sum to no more than 12, and I can't do it. This is a 1 or a 2, giving me a 1, 2 pair. These are from 1, 2, 4. That can't be a 4. It's next to a 6 or a 7. That's a 1 or a 2 only. Get rid of the 3, 4 pencil mark. 8, 9 could go to anything, next to anything. This is a 1, 2, 3. Because I can't put 4 there because both of those would need to be 9. That gives me a 1, 2, 3 triple. Oh, that's a 6 or a 7. That can't be a 3. So 3 is in one of those two and not there. This puzzle is strange. Seven in column 4. Can't be in any of those because that 7 sees those. Can't be in any of those. 7 is down there. If this is a 1, these become 7, 8, 9. I think that's okay. If this is a 4, that's a 9. I'm at 13. These would need to sum to 12. Hang on, if this is a 4, this would be a 9. These would need to sum to 12, but the minimum they could be is 6 and 7, which sums to 13. Again, that's not 4. This is a 1, 2. This is a 3 or this is a 3 or a 4, which means this is an 8 or a 9. Okay. So is it this cage? If I put a 6 in this cage, what happens? 6, 8, 9. 6, 8, 9 is 23. Isn't it? Yeah, 6, 8, 9 is 23, and that'd have to be a 2, which could work if that's the one. 1, 6, 8, 9, 2, that could work. That cell is restricted. No, it's better than that. Where do I put the other 1, 2 in this row? I can't put a 1, 2 there because the 1, 2 pair in the box. I can't put 1, 2 in any of those, and there's a 1, 2, 3 looking at that. That's a 1, 2. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9 go into those. Can I do the same along here? I don't think I can. I need to put another 1, 2, 3 in, but I could put it... Well, hang on. So there is another... no, because this could be a 3, 4. No, it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. How did I get 7? Yeah, 7 is down here. This isn't 7. This is an 8, 9 pair. So there's no 8, 9 in there. So where is that digit in box 2? Because it can't repeat in its column. It can't go in there because I've got an 8, 9 pair looking at it. That's an 8, 9. That's that 8, 9. Which now means 8 and 9 are up here. This is nuts. Six is in one of those two. 7 is down here. Am I colouring 8, 9s? I don't think so. So 1 and 2's in this row. I could put 1 there. I think there's something going on with 1s and 2s. This 25 cage is bugging me as well, because these either have to sum to 23 or 24. Because, right, these are either 789 or 689. Which means there has to be an 8 or a 9 in here. Because these are from 6, 7, 8, 9. But there must be two 8s or 9 in this box. Because if this was 6, 7, these would have to sum to 12, and I can't do it. 2 and 10 is what I would need if this was 6, 7. So there must be an 8 or a 9 in here, which means there's an 8 or a 9 in here and an 8, 9 here, which means that is not an 8, 9. This is an 8, 9 pair. Which means they sum to 17, so those need to sum to 7. They are not 1, 6. They are 2, 5 or 3, 4. There's no 2 or 3 there, so there's no 4 or 5 there. That's a low digit. That's a 2 or a 3, giving me a 2, 3 pair. So 1, 2, 3, these are 4, 5 and 6. That's weird. No, 3 could go there, couldn't it? I was looking at 3 in the top row. It's either there or there. So that cell and that cell are under a lot of pressure. If this is a 6, this would be a 1. 6, 1 would be 7 plus 5 is 12, and that would be a 3. So if this is 6, 1, that's a 3. If this is 7, this could be 1 or 2. So these would sum... Yeah, I've already looked at this. All I know is there is a 1 in there. So there's no 1 in any of those. There's no 1 there. There's no 1 there. So 1 is in one of those 3. Man, if I could narrow that down. What about this 6? If that's a 6, both of those are 1. That becomes a 2, which means this becomes 6, 8, 9. So there'd be a 6 in there, which would work. 6, 1, 6 would be fine. Yeah, that'd be a 2. So 6, 1, that'd be the 6. This would be an 8, 9 pair. That would be a 7. So these would sum to 10. That's broken! That's broken! If this is a 6, both of those are 1. This would be a 7, so those would sum to 10. Those would need to sum to 9, but the only way to do that would be with 8 and 1, but the 6 put a 1 there, and I can't do 8, 1. The only other option would be 9, 0, and it doesn't work. That can't be a 6. That's a 7. That's a 6. Which doesn't actually resolve those at all. But these sum to 9, so these have to sum to 10, so they're 8, 2 or 9, 1. No! 1, 2, 3... Oh, that 6 takes 6 out of there. So that's a 6, which takes 6 out of there. This is 7, 8, 9. So they sum to 24. That's a 1. That's a 2. There's no 2 there. That's a 2. So that's the 1, because remember there had to be a 1 in here. These sum to 8, so that's a 7. Which means that's a 2 because 7... No, that is wrong. That is backwards logic. Do not use that. That would be terrible. But there's no 7 there. This is the 8, 9 pair. That's the 7, and I can take 7 out of those. That is now an 8, 9 pair, and this is a 6 or a 7 in the column. Which means this can't be a 3. That's the 3. Whoa! And so I'm just flabbergasted by this puzzle. This is definitely harder than what Akash normally sends me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So these are 4, 5, and 7. But that 7 takes 7 out of there. The 4, 5 pair makes that the 7, which means 7 is in one of those two. That is a high digit. So these are 4, 5, 6. So there's a 6 pointing down here. 4, 5, 6. But there's no 6 there because of the 6 in the corner. That's the 6. Twice 3 in the corner. So what? This is 1, 2, or 3 now for the row. So 1, 2, 3. These are 4, 5, and 7. The 3 looks up, saying that's not a 3. That's a 1, 2 pair. That's the 3. That's the 2. That's a 1. That's a 2, making that a 3. The 1, 2 pair here is looking up, making that a 3. How is that not resolving this at all? My gast is flabbered. 6. 7 is not down here, but 6 is. 6 is in one of those two. This 1 makes this 2, which makes this 1. So these have to sum to 21. So they could be 6, 7, 8. In fact, do they have... No, they don't have to be 6, 7, 8 because I've got other digits available. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a high digit. So these are 4 and 5. This 8, 9, though, makes that the 5, which makes that the 4, taking 4 out of those. But that 5 makes that the 4 as well. The 5, 7 looks back, making that the 4, which makes that the 5. 4 is a low digit. That 5 makes that 4, which makes that 5. 4 is the low digit. The 4 looks down, making that the 3 and that the 4, and that is going to blow everything open because that's now the 3, which makes that the 8. These 7, this has 7, so these had to sum to 10. That's the 1. That's the 2. This is crazy. This is the 2. These had to sum to 10 because they sum to 9, so that becomes an 8, which makes that a 9. Which looks like making that the 8 and that the 9. The 2 makes that the 1. 5, 7 pair. That's the 7 and that's the 5 because of the Sudoku. Let's just use Sudoku. Where's 1 in this box? That 1 places 1 there, which is a low digit. This is now the 6, which is the high digit. These, well, the 6 knocks 6 out of there, so that's the 6, which is a high digit. And then that's just the 5. So this is not a 5, this is an 8 or a 9. And the 8 makes that the 9 and that the 8. I could have started somewhere else, but I didn't. These are 4 and 8, and I'll use that 4 to make that the 8 and that the 4. So that is the high digit and that is the low digit. This puzzle is bonkers. These, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. And know what this triple is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. There's no 7 there, so there has to be a 7 in this cage. But these have to sum to 21. So if I put a 4 in this cage, if this was 1, 4, the others would have to sum to 17. If that was a 4, 5 plus 6 would be 11, and that'd have to be 11. If this was a 4, 5 plus 7 would be 12, and that'd have to be a 10. That's not a 4. That's a 6, 7 pair. So that's a 4. The 6, 7 pair, 13, 14, that's an 8. To get me to 22, which means that's the 9, that's the 8, that's the 9. The 4 makes that the 5. This 8 and 9 have resolved these ones. This still isn't collapsing though, is it? This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. There's a 3 and a 6 here, so that's the 5, and they take 5 out of there. But that means that's not a 7. There is a 7 in the cage. The 3, 6 is resolved. That's the 6, that's the 3. So the 6 is the high digit, the 3 is the low digit. Oh, the 5 makes that the 4, which is the low digit. I could have got that from the column. This is a 1-2 pair in the column, but I know the... Is that the 2 and that the 1? This is glorious. 3 and 6 go in, and the 3 makes that the 6 and that the 3. 6 being the high digit, 3 being the low digit. The 4 makes that the 8 and that the 4. So that is the high digit, that is the low digit. Now, the 6 makes that the 7 and that the 6, and this is just down to a single box. So I need to put a 2 in, not in those, not there, that's the 2. I'm going to remove the pencil marks, I don't need them. So that is low. I need to put a 5 somewhere. Actually, let's figure out the digits that aren't 5 first. So I need to figure out the 7, which is not in those. So that's the 7, which is the high digit. I need to put in the 9, which is not there. So that's the 9, which is the high digit. And the final digit is the 5. 33 minutes, 40 seconds. Pretty happy with that. I'll be curious to see how people go. I imagine the easy puzzle solve is going to be, people who do that are going to be solving it in like 10 to 12 minutes, I expect. I know people who are going to solve this one in 10 to 12 minutes. That was stunning. That was miraculously stunning. Just beautiful. Thank you, Akash. That was great. This is why I love Akash's books. And occasionally I will just... I have a list of puzzles that I've done. Apparently in this one, this is volume 8. Apparently I'm that far through it. This being the front. I've done all of those. Yeah, it's... I just go through and I've got a list of all the puzzles, and then I grab a puzzle and I solve it and I just move on. They're just good fun. And I cannot recommend them enough. There's a lot of good people vying for your Sudoku dollar. I'm one of them, but Akash Doulani's books are definitely worth it. If you're on a budget, there are really only 3 or 4 things I highly recommend. And Akash Doulani's books are up there. So please check out the World of Sudoku books. They are just excellent value, and you could just lose a weekend or longer solving one of the books. So, and often I try and give away copies of World of Sudoku books with Sudoku competitions. I didn't do it with the KG constraint stuff. I don't know why I didn't. Probably because I was dumb. Thank you everyone for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the puzzle. And as I said, keep an eye on Akash's blog, and I will update links below when the book is finally released. It's only a few days away, so it shouldn't be too hard, but it's coming. And I will also post on my free Patreon. You can join my Patreon for free, and I will post an update then when the book is released as well. Thank you everyone for watching. And as always, good luck with your solving.